What's going on, people? Welcome to 137 Works, and today we have some Call of Duty World War II PC beta footage. We're playing some TDM on Ardennes Forest? Not entirely sure. I think it's Ardennes. But yeah, just some TDM. I just thought I'd talk really quickly, make a little video about what I thought, since it's been a while since I did any kind of video on the channel in a while, let alone any kind of gameplay video talking about the gameplay. So yeah, it's actually a decent round. I get some deaths that I shouldn't have, and I think it should have been a better round overall. But yeah, it turns out to be fairly alright. I think it's like more than a 2 KD, I think. Either way, what did I think of the game from what we gotten anyway? It's Call of Duty, man. It's Call of Duty. It's what I've said about Call of Duty for the last 47 million Call of Duties. Like, in work, again, if you don't know, if you're new here for whatever reason, I am basically, I work in a game shop, and I talk to people all the time, and when they ask me what I thought about like a new Call of Duty, what I think about new Call of Duty after it comes out, I basically say the same thing. It's Call of Duty. There's just different teams. Last year it was jetpacks. The year before it was jetpacks. This year it's World War II. So it's back to boots on the ground, which is good. There's no doubt about that. Like, obviously it is good. It's what people have been asking for. But see, there's like a bigger problem here. There's a bigger thing at play than just simply... So, Call of Duty, obviously, 2007, gone way back to the start, it was like revolutionary. Obviously, Halo was like a big multiplayer game. There was Counter-Strike and all that. But Call of Duty really kind of popularized. The large majority of people that I know, including me myself, got into FPS games, first-person shooters, in 2007 with Call of Duty 4. This is the problem. It's 10 years later. People say that people always say that they want like a new shooter, they want a boots on the ground experience, they want it to go back to the way it was, they don't want all the jetpacks and all that. And then they get it, and now a lot of people have been negative. It has a a seriously negative review on Steam, or review score on Steam. I think it's a 76 or something like that % negative review score on Steam. And I don't think that's necessarily down to the game. If you play it, it's more or less just another Call of Duty. Yes, the maps are fairly small. Like, this one in particular is like particularly small, let's be honest. But the maps overall, the two maps that we played, I think it was 2 or 3 maps. 3 maps maybe. Ardennes Forest, the one in the city streets, and then the one that looks like a hillside emplacement, like with the kind of the turrets and stuff like that, and it's kind of like a French kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but you probably, if you played it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Basically, yeah, the maps are obviously very small. Now, all these things that I'm saying don't mean that it isn't a bad game. I'm not really sure whether it's necessarily a bad game, or like yet so far. Obviously on PC it's not the best, like the menus and stuff like that aren't the best, but like just from what we've got, it's just another Call of Duty. That's all I can really say for it so far, based on the evidence that we have from the beta. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I just honestly think is up to personal preference. What I was saying about the 10-year thing, like, it's just, we've had the game for 10 years now. A lot of people just, I don't like, just for me personally, I'm not as excited about FPSs in general as I used to be. I used to be hardcore into Battlefield and Call of Duty, and just couldn't wait for the next one. But nowadays, I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'll try that when it comes out. And I don't know if that's just kind of fatigue from getting a couple of bad ones in a row. I didn't like Battlefield 1. I didn't like Battlefield Hardline. I didn't like the last couple of Call of Duties overly muchly, if that's a phrase. Yeah, I personally have felt fatigued with them. And I think that's why I'm kind of like lukewarm on new shooters when they come out. I'm not just madly in love with them. Pretty much the only FPS that I've really liked and put any real amount of time into recently has been Dirty Bomb, which I've put a couple of 100 hours into, nearly 200 hours, something like that. That's just personal preference. That's the kind of gameplay that I've been feeling personally. I don't know whether it's other people are feeling the same and they're just fatigued with the same thing over and over again, or if it's just that the games are bad. And I guess the two aren't, like, they're not mutually exclusive, I suppose. If the games are always bad, then of course people are going to be sick and tired of playing them. But when I seen, it's interesting. I guess that, like, I know this sounds like it's all off topic, but what I'm basically trying to get at is seeing that people were looking at Black Ops 2 and Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare, Black Ops 3, Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare, and kind of turned their noses up and saying, oh my god, space again, we want boots on the ground, we want boots on the ground. And then when this game comes out, and it is fundamentally just a boots on the ground Call of Duty. Yes, the graphics aren't great at all by any stretch of the imaginations. They don't look as anywhere near as good as something like a Battlefield or a Battlefront or something like that. But it is essentially what was asked for. It's a Call of Duty. It's similar in a lot of ways to World at War. It's a lot like World at War, but just with kind of more tight controls, like more modern, up to date controls and kind of that kind of thing. It's just one of those things where it's hard to say. Like I went into making this video wanting to give an opinion on whether I thought it was good or bad. For me personally, as somebody who just, as much as I'll complain and say that I didn't love it or whatever, I don't mind Call of Duty. I know there's people that love it still after all these years. I know there's people that hate it after just it being basically the same thing for all these years. But me, I'm just in the middle. I just don't mind it. If it's a good Call of Duty experience and I can pick it up and play it, I'll probably enjoy it. And that's I guess that's what I got from the beta. Like, I only played about an hour, I think. I didn't play that much of it at all. But from what I played, I felt like I was playing Call of Duty, and for that, I was alright with it, I guess. Like, I will say this, I wouldn't buy it. It didn't do enough to rope me into actually buying it, so I think that says a lot about it in itself. The fact that, like, I wouldn't be willing to put down 60 or 70 euro on it, or like get any special editions at all, like, by a long shot. But now there is something to be said for the fact that I don't love the historical setting. As my YouTube channel, for example, primarily used to be based on the Battlefield series. When was the last time I uploaded a Battlefield video? I didn't like Battlefield 1, and I know I'm not alone in that. But it's just, I don't like the old settings. Like, don't get me wrong, I loved World at War back in the day, but that was just because, it was the second one. It was right after Modern Warfare 2, or Modern Warfare 1, obviously, sorry. And I think that's why a lot of people like that game so much as well. We'd had Medal of Honor, we'd had like Call of Duty 1 and 2 that were set back then, and then we had a year of Call of Duty 4. And then it was just kind of all this new group of people that had never played it, like never really played FPS games, are all of a sudden all like, this is brand new and fresh to them, and like they're playing this like they're all just excited for new FPS games to come out, shooter games, Call of Duty games in particular, and then we get a World War II one, and it's great, and the maps are fantastic, and their guns are great, and it just feels good. But I just think, like, after all the variety that we've had, after all the different choices, going back to that now is just, maybe it's just for a lot of people, like, for me personally, that's what I'm saying, is that I don't like that kind of the slow, like for Battlefield 1 in particular, it's just the slow inaccuracy of the guns. That's not so much of an issue in Call of Duty here in this World War II. The guns aren't terribly inaccurate. They're not, like, they don't have nearly the same problems as Battlefield 1 does, with the gun inaccuracy and just the unpleasant feeling of guns, basically. But I think that's that's something a lot of people feel like as well. They just kind of, they wanted a World War II game, but then when you play a World War II game nowadays, maybe it just doesn't feel as tight as you'd gotten used to, maybe, or like it's a little bit kind of lacking or something like that. Overall, I don't, as I said, I wouldn't buy it. I don't think it's an amazing game. I just think it's another Call of Duty, so take that for what you will. I basically just wanted to make this video because I hadn't made a video in ages, and I do apologise for that. I'm well aware of it, as I always say. Yeah, I just kind of rambled here. There wasn't like much of a structure to it. I didn't plan anything out. I just kind of went into it talking. So I hope I got some good points across. I hope you played the beta and can make up your mind for yourself. If not, yeah, just look at the evidence that's on show there and see if it's worth trying out for yourself. I thought it was, if you enjoyed Call of Duty, you'll enjoy this one, pretty much. But I will say, what the heck were they thinking with the user face on the PC? Atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. That's it, though. As far as I know, it's supposed to be fixed for the full release. So that's about it. If you enjoyed it, please do leave a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.